Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to talk about Bitcoin Cash and its ticker BCH. None of the content is financial advice. Let's get started. So Bitcoin Cash right now is priced at around $580. So over a larger period of time, that is across multiple cycles, Bitcoin Cash has been around for at least since 2017. The first highs that Bitcoin Cash has had was back in previous, that is the all-time high was in December 2017. Price was at around $4,300. The next time was in the market cycle of 2021. The price was much lower than the 2017 high, from $4,300 in 2017 to $1,600, almost one third of that in 2021. Back in 2024, the price did go to that 0.382 Fib level at around $674. From the 2017 highs to 2021 highs, the Fibonacci retracement, if you were to draw it from 2017 top to 2019 bottom, the 0.382 was the all-time high or the market cycle high for 2021 cycle. The price did not go above the 0.382. This time around, from the 2021 highs to 2022 bottom, the 0.382 was at around $674. The price did go slightly higher at around $700 in April 2024, but ever since that, the price has failed to make a meaningful exit out of this 0.382 ceiling. If on the other hand, if we were to draw a line from peak to peak, and also from 2017, 2021 and 2024 and late 2024 and early 2025, right now there has been a breakout on this line, the white line, the descending white line. The next level to watch is the $674 level. If this level offers significant resistance, then the price could have a hard time breaking out of that $675 to $700 range. If on the other hand, the price were to break out, the next level to look after the $675 range is at $855 range. That's the 0.5 Fib level. And what my interpretation of the Fibonacci levels is, as the price gets suppressed from the 2017 high, from cycle to cycle, the 0.382 would not be the all-time the market cycle high. It could jump one Fib level higher. So the $855 level is a key level to watch with the last 5 to 6 little or 5 months left in the year 2025. That $855 level it becomes the most key target for Bitcoin Cash. If we were to go to the machine learning based price analysis for the remainder of this year, using seasonal ARIMA and LSTM and XGBoost related machine learning model trained on the weekly price action of Bitcoin Cash since 2017, to look for what is the bull case for at Bitcoin Cash, which can be supported by the seasonal ARIMA based 1 standard deviation residual. The bull case is between $660 to all the way to about $1,400. So a $1,400 Bitcoin Cash would be higher than at a weekly average than Bitcoin Cash's 2021 high. So that means the first target to look for in case of a potential new high for 2025, which is higher than 2021 but not as high as 2017, again going higher than 2017's high for Bitcoin Cash at a weekly average level would mean that the price has to go higher than $3,000, and that at this stage of the bull run seems more and more unlikely. The 1.618 on the Fibonacci levels is at all the way at around $2,500 level. If the 2025 high is higher than the 2021 high, The first level to look for from the Fibonacci levels is at around $2,500. But from the machine learning perspective, the one standard deviation ceiling is lower than the 2021 highs. Although you could see that at a weekly average in May 2021 the price was at around $1,300. The local top for that week was much higher at around $1,600. Again, this is always going to be different when we look at weekly averages and the candle bodies. Machine learning models do a better job identifying trend than the actual price ceiling. Going to the regression based analysis for Bitcoin Cash, the polynomial regression model wrapped around the weekly candles for Bitcoin Cash with that pink line, which is the polynomial regression based fair value. DCA above the fair value does not make that much of a sense if we look at the historical price action, but below the fair value, especially one standard deviation residual below the fair value, that is this green line, which is essentially whenever the price is lower than the fair value by about 68 percentile bear case, outside of the 68 percentile bear case. Because of the volatile nature of cryptos, historically speaking, in the bear market, the prices do go lower than the one standard deviation residual. Right now, you can see that there has been an upswing on the polynomial regression based valuation. That is because we are in a bull run. But come 2026, you can see this as much as the market cycle has rallied, or the price action has rallied since March 2025, late March 2025. The rally for Bitcoin Cash is basically hugging this green line. The opposite of this green line is one standard deviation residual to the upside, and together this yellow and green line, price action stays about 68% of the time inside those bands. If the prices were to go to the top of the ceiling, this time around the ceiling peaks at around $1,400, that could be a realistic bull case for Bitcoin Cash, which is confluent with the machine learning model and the regression model, as well as the Fibonacci levels, the lower high structure resolving at around 0.786 at around $1,300 over here. Right now, the slope of the regression function is again always going to be dynamic. We don't retroactively fit the regression function, but the price reacts to the regression based fair value reacts to the changes in price. That's the dynamic nature. So if there is a prolonged presence below the green line, the shape or the slope of the regression function as the recent bias could have a local peak at around $1,400 as we move closer to the end of year 2025. So that's a key area to look for per the regression based valuation. Going forward with the risk color coded, price action color coded with risk between 0 and 1, or the cooler colors such as purple and blue to the warmer colors such as yellow, red and orange. Right now the risk is in the cooler colors, the risk is only 0.11 or 11% per the regression based fair value. Again, the same model that we saw, this is again applied at a daily level. If we look at some of the recent rallies in 2024, the risk levels for Bitcoin Cash at its peak went to 0.72. Then the next time it was at 0.42. This time around, if the risk levels go to somewhere between 0.3 and 0.4, the price forecasted is between $940 and about $1,100 for Bitcoin Cash. That is slightly less bullish than the $1,300 level. If on the other hand, if we look at the 20-week simple moving average based risk levels in 2024, the risk levels peaked in April at around 0.77 and then back in December at 0.61. If this time around they peak at around close to that 0.61 in the short term, the risk level between 0.5 and 0.6 is at around 870, between 870 and that $960 level. and $870 Bitcoin Cash is close to that 0.5 Fib level, and 0.618 is all the way at around $1,000. So those are the levels to look for if there is a less pronounced rally in the later half of 2025. Going to the time weighted average price based model, the accumulation phase for Bitcoin Cash is when the price action is below the blue line. Historically speaking, right now the price action is above the blue line. The blue line represents the time weighted average price, which is coming at around $422 right now. This model helps accumulation in the bear market come late 2026 if the asset class is in the bear market or bearish territory next year per the 4-year cycle. You could see that the ROI in the year after the post-halving year often is not that great. That is, for example, in 2022, this is Bitcoin, but if you could substitute that with Bitcoin Cash, you would see that Bitcoin Cash suffers even a greater extent of the bear market year-to-date performance in 2022. Also in 2018, 4 years before the 2022 drop, the drops again, at least with that increased adoption and lower volatility from cycle to cycle in crypto, the ROI in 2018 was negative 93%. This in 2022 was negative 78%. Maybe in 2026 it could be somewhere like negative 65% from wherever the eventual peak for Bitcoin Cash occurs in 2025, that is. So those are the levels to watch for Bitcoin Cash, especially as we move closer to the end of the bull run and kind of in the midpoint of the bear market. So those are the models to look for. From the estimated bull run scenario, again, the peak bull run estimate for Bitcoin Cash, assuming at the height of the euphoria peak for the 2025 cycle, if the weighted risk goes all the way to 0.95 of the three individual models, risk-based models. Right now the weighted risk is 0.3. If it were to go to that highest permissible point at around 0.95 risk, the forecast in that estimated risk-based forecast is at around $1,880, representing about a 3x from the current risk levels. But if you are slightly more conservative and say that at the peak the weighted risk cannot be 0.95, maybe it goes to as high as about 0.88 or 0.7, what we can do is instead do a 0.7 into times the $1,800 level. That takes the price action close to that 1,200, and 0.8 takes the price action ceiling at around 1,400. So between 1,200 and 1,400, slightly more realistic than that $1,800 level estimated by the bull run peak, assuming at the latest risk price at that euphoria peak is at around 0.95. And with that, I would like to conclude by saying the first key level to watch is 0.5 Fib level at around $855. Then the 0.786 at around $1,300. That's where the most confluence occurs at 0.786 Fib level at around $1,300 across multiple machine learning based, regression based, and risk based models. And with that, I would like to conclude. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.